Hello class, welcome to lecture 4 part 2. Hopefully you have taken some time to already view lecture 4 part 1. That would be imperative to understanding where we are in the process of this lecture. So if you have not done that, stop this recording and actually take a moment and review in lecture 4 part 1. Alright, we are now in our third category of the MBTI, which focuses on how one makes decisions. For this particular category, we are looking at two areas, T for thinkers and F for feelers. Thinkers usually make decisions in a very logical, practical, and reasonable manner. They are usually very critical in their approach to make decisions. They usually question and or try to answer as many questions as possible in the process of making a decision. They are also often thought of as being very tough. And that usually is because when they do finally make a decision, because they have taken so much time in the process to make one, once they've made a decision, they usually don't want to change their mind because they have already taken so much time in the process. Thinkers love to compare, contrast things. They love to see what is the benefits of each particular way and analyze all the benefits before they make a decision. For example, thinker may buy a cell phone or looking to buy a cell phone, and in the process they may be the ones who go online, pull up and see if they can compare 3 or 4 different cell phones, look at all the specs for the phones to see which one is the better phone and possibly even for the value for the money. Thinkers to our society are about 60% of men, and 60% of men tend to base their decisions primarily on logic and on objective analysis of cause and effect. Feelers, on the other hand, they usually base their decisions primarily on values and on subjective evaluation of a person-centered concerns, which is usually about 60% of our population, which are usually women. Feeling does not mean emotional, so let's make sure that's clear. It does not mean emotional. However, feelers usually see thinkers as very cold-hearted, very remote, see them as tough. Whereas thinkers usually see feelers are very tender-hearted, soft-hearted, and sometimes maybe even illogical. Feelers make their decisions based on their gut. They also usually value the opinion of others in the process of their decision making, whereas thinkers usually will stick to the facts. When it comes to careers, we'll take example a manager. A manager could be a thinker, and let's say they have to make cuts, lay off some people. Well, a manager is going to focus more on the bottom line, the dollar and the cents. Where will be the best place to make the cuts? Now, a manager that's a feeler, though, because they're more tender-hearted, they usually are more focused about how is this person going to feel if I cut them. They're going to think about the person and the person's needs in the process. Now, that's not to say that thinkers are heartless and they don't care about people. They maybe do, and they maybe actually really love or have some concern for the people that may need to be cut. But at the end of the day, they're going to focus more on the facts than they would on the person and deciding on that way who they should cut or not cut. Here's a small activity to help you with understanding a little bit more about thinking and feeling. You're at a school and have just experienced a 7.0 earthquake. One of the bookshelves has fell on a classmate and they are trapped. What is your initial response? How are you feeling? What are you thinking? What do you do? By this time, you should have already self-typed if you are either T or F. Take a moment to make notes about how you would feel and respond in this situation with the earthquake. Okay, now students who are T usually will look around and assess the situation, see what the environment is like, and if everything is A-okay, Then they will run and they will actually help the student that's trapped by the bookshelf. Whereas feelers usually respond initially with a cry out, some type of emotion, some type of response that demonstrates their emotion. They may run and help the student immediately without assessing or analyzing the full situation and the safety. There's a little bit of a difference between the T and the F in decision making. Our last category is about lifestyle. I also like to say your responsibilities, everything on your plate, everything you're responsible for. In this category, you are either going to be J for judging or P for perceiving. J's love to have everything planned out. They love to plan ahead, schedule things. They want to make sure what's happening ahead so that they can properly prepare for and commit to every task that they have on their plate or responsibility. They don't like things to happen where things weren't planned or on the shock. They will love to know ahead or in advance what's happening. J's love to keep planners. They love to check off on a to-do list. They'll love to write a to-do list and then check it off. A very strong J actually might have a to-do list, may have completed a task that wasn't on their to-do list, and then realize it wasn't on their list. They actually will write it down on their to-do list and then check it and cross it off for the satisfaction of getting it done. Perceivers, on the other hand, really like life to be really open-ended, very casual, spontaneous. They don't want everything planned. They want life to kind of just go with the flow. Life happens as it happens. They are people who, I like to say, when it comes to commitments, write things down in pencil so that if something else comes up better that they're more interested in, they actually might do that second task or activity versus what they had already had some commitment to. So they're easily adjusted. Whereas I like to say J's like to keep commitments and write things down in pen, because once they make a commitment about something, chances are they're usually going to stick to it, even if it's weeks or months out in advance. When it comes to work environments, J's do better in environments where they understand and know their responsibilities and the objectives or the tasks on their plate. They can actually take those, understand what those objectives and responsibilities are and plan out well how they're going to be successful in completing those tasks. P's, on the other hand, dread deadlines. They will love things to actually happen and given at a response and at a flow of what's best for them. They don't want to be tied down and structured in every particular situation and way and how they do their job or their task. So here's a small activity to help you with understanding more about J and P. And at this point, you should have decided already whether you are more J or whether you are more P. Make that note. All right, you are taking a field trip to Magic Mountain for the day. How will you plan your day? What will you do? What do you bring? Take a few moments and write down how you will respond to a day at Magic Mountain. Okay, usually J's in this situation will say stuff like they will plan the day, usually sometimes even days in advance. But if it's on the day of the event, or the activity that they're doing, going to Magic Mountain, they will plan, they'll take water, they may plan and take snacks, they may take a change of clothes. They usually will plan if there's any type of special shows or activities they want to see or participate in. They'll plan their schedule around those show times. And they'll even plan when they're going to go on particular rides because they want to make sure they go on a ride. Sometimes, usually when the line is the less and or it's feasible to the time of day, meaning if it's evening or if it's daytime. For example, they'll plan when they go on a log ride. Might be at the heat time of the day versus late in the evening. P's, on the other hand, what are they planning when they go to Magic Mountain? Let's just go. What are we planning? Now, they may think a couple of things through, but for the most part, they might not have a change of clothes. They might not have some snacks or water, but I have learned those who are mothers, and if they're bringing children, they usually pre-plan some things because they know overall that day is going to be better for them and their child. So sometimes that will play a role, and that usually is out of learned behavior versus what you prefer to do. If you didn't have your child, would you necessarily plan as much in detail as that? So that's something to think about. All right, so this ends us discussing and knowing about each of the categories. Now I'm going to focus on something else that will help you when it comes to deciding on your career. And that is what is known as the heart type, at the heart of you. You should have received a handout that looks very similar to what's on the right that lists the 2 middle letters of your MBTI type. The 2 middle letters of your type represent what we like to say is your heart type. So you'll see to the left that I have some examples. So SF means making others happy, or ST means getting things right. NT means designing systems, or NF means empowering others. And so what you want to do is look at the handout that I provided for you and actually go through for your 2 middle letters, your heart type, and then highlight phrases within that heart type that stand out for you that you would love to include in your career. What you'll most likely notice in your heart type is that these are areas that you constantly think about, and you think about these areas in more than one environment. And our environments can be home, work, family, it could be social type environments with friends. And so no matter the environment, you actually take time and you really think about these things. Well, therefore, that's your driving force. That is the heart of you. And so what you want to do now is then compare careers that you're already thinking about and see if some of the phrases of what's here on your heart type actually aligns with the career you're considering. Will you be able to perform these particular tasks in that new career? If it's yes, it's a lot of good matches, then you're most likely on the right track when it comes to your career goal. If not, then that means you want to start to look at other careers that will allow you to operate in your heart type or the heart of you. This next screen just gives a quick example about career and labels by type. So you can find your type, and as a result, you can be able to see your type and pretty much just a general overview of what it means. Later in our class, and actually with your assessment results, you will get a list of careers that fit your type. Okay, this is going to be the end of Lecture 4, Part 2. I will pick up shortly with the next video for Lecture 4, Part 3. Thank you.